Falcons fans, we've just launched a new Falcons only YouTube channel. Now, in order to give you guys more videos, we have to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're already over the 300 mark. We're trying to get higher though. So if you haven't already, subscribe today. And you know what? Why don't you tell some Falcons fans, friends of yours as well? Let's talk quarterback for the Falcons, since that's a key area of focus going forward for this organization. New GM Terry Fontenot made it pretty clear he subscribes to the Ron Wolf tree, which is the Packers style, of always trying to add quarterback help. That makes a lot of sense, especially for where this organization is at. Yes, Matt Ryan should be back as the starting quarterback next season, and for good reason. He's still a very, very strong quarterback, and I'd argue top 10, top 15, top whatever. But he is going to turn 36. His future, at least, is a little bit murky beyond and into the 2022, 2023, etc. season. Here's what the new GM had to say. You look at Ron Wolf. You always bring in quarterbacks. You need to bring in quarterbacks, whether it's in the draft, whether it's in free agency, or signing guys off the street. It's so important. Bring in quarterbacks a lot, build strengths. So for the Falcons, they're going to do their due diligence when it comes to quarterback options. That's why they went to the Trevor Lawrence Pro Day. Also tried to look at receiver Cornell Powell, but they're going to do their research on a variety of options, both in round 1 and in round 2, round 3, and round 4. Now, trading down is an option for this organization, and it makes a lot of sense depending on what they want to do. Do they want to target a quarterback at number 4? There are some options we'll get to here in just a second. Do they want to try to add some more defensive pieces? Take someone like a Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle from Oregon, all in order to try and win with a Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, etc. window that kind of helped end up getting the previous regime fired. Right now, the Falcons sit at the number 4 spot. The Jags are going to take Trevor Lawrence at number 1. We know that. The Jets could go quarterback at number 2. They could try to trade down as well if they want to roll with Sam Darnold for at least one more year. And then the Dolphins have that number 3 pick. We'll see if that stays in their hands or not. If they trade it, maybe it's a quarterback, probably not. So in all reality, the Falcons picking at number 4 are going to have a lot of options their way. They could go with a quarterback prospect. Now, Lawrence, again, is not going to be there, but Zach Wilson out of BYU, he should be there. Justin Fields out of Ohio State, in all reality, one of those two guys is on the board. Trey Lance will be there out of North Dakota State. So if you're the Falcons and you decide, you know what, we want to find our future franchise quarterback, I think you take one at 4. And I think that's a very justifiable position. Now, maybe you want to take Penei Sewell at 4. If so, okay, great. But if you're not going to go quarterback, I think a trade down is almost a must move for the Atlanta Falcons, because the defensive options in this year's class, they're not great. They're not really worth the number 4 overall pick. You know, you could take the approach of, you know, we could go with a cornerback, Patrick Surtain, Caleb Farley, Alabama, Virginia Tech, respectively. AJ Terrell played pretty well. Having a number 2 corner would be fantastic, though, and is needed for that defense. You could look edge rusher, Gregory Rousseau from Miami, Kwity Paye from Michigan. Those guys are fine. They'll go probably in round 1. Not worth the top 5 pick, even though Kwity Paye is going to blow up whatever, not combine, but pro day he's going to have this year for Michigan. His numbers will be insane. You could look at a linebacker like Micah Parsons, I guess. So for the Falcons, I think it's pretty clear. Their best path going forward is to either take the quarterback at 4 or simply trade down. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to trade down in the 2021 NFL Draft? Simple yes or no question here. Type in 1 for yes, you do, or 2 for no, you want to stand pat, take a quarterback, take a Penei Sewell, take somebody else. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's talk about some potential free agents, and one that is a free agent on this own team. That is Keanu Neal and what his future holds. Bleacher Report put out their list of 1 free agent every team must re-sign this offseason, and they went with Keanu Neal, which I'm mostly on board with. Things do get a little bit dicey for the Falcons, though, when it comes to their cap situation. Keanu Neal is a pending free agent. at least was healthy in 2020 after missing a lot of time in 2019 and 2018, missed the majority of both of those seasons. When he's been on the field, he's been really good. A former first-round pick out of Florida, filled that box safety role to perfection for this team. There are some issues, though, with the health and just how much money he's going to get. The production was pretty solid, plenty of tackles, over 100, or actually at 100, a bunch of tackles for loss as well. Doesn't offer a ton when it comes to the pass breakups, interception game, but he's certainly a very starting caliber safety. And for an organization that has uncertainty with its top three safeties, we'll get to Ricardo Allen in just a second, I'm very curious what ends up happening with Keanu Neal. So get your votes in for me. If you ran the Falcons, you're the new organization guy in charge, you're making all the decisions here, what would you do? Type K for keep or type in L for let leave. Let's go now to Ricardo Allen as promised. Now, earlier this offseason, he kind of made it clear, I don't know what the future holds. I'd love to keep playing for the Falcons, but he's considered, playing for a new team, coaching, and retiring altogether. The Athletic put out their list of top cut candidates for the Falcons, which we'll also probably do one here for you guys in the future. Allen makes a lot of sense as a potential cut candidate. You could save his entire base salary. It's about $6.25 million. You could throw that money at Keanu Neal instead. Ricardo Allen has been a quality, I think is the term I'll go with there, starter for the Falcons. He's played free safety, has also battled some injury issues in recent years. But for the Falcons, it's almost less about Ricardo Allen and more what they want to do when it comes to their current secondary situation, especially at safety, right? We mentioned Keanu Neal. He's a pending free agent. Damontae Kazee, he's a free agent as well. That leaves Ricardo Allen as the only one under contract and a pretty significant hit. And even though I do like Ricardo Allen, I think there's a very real argument that Keanu Neal and Kazee are actually better players. So we'll see exactly what new defensive coordinator Dean Pease wants to do in terms of the lineup and who comes back and who leaves. But if you could cut Ricardo Allen to, for example, afford a Keanu Neal, I think that starts to make a little bit more sense for the Falcons. It's a very tricky situation. The expected lower cap in 2021 is going to lead to some unfortunate decisions and cuts here. If you can bring back Keanu Neal and Ricardo Allen, maybe that makes sense. Maybe Kazee leaves instead. They're going to make some tough decisions this offseason. And we'll keep you updated on what the Falcons end up doing from now through all the way to the NFL draft and, of course, in the 2021 season as well. So if you want to stay up to date on everything going on around the Atlanta Falcons, hit that big red button and subscribe. As soon as we get to 1,000 subscribers, folks, we can do more videos for you guys going forward. Let's talk about a recently cut player. That is Kawann Short, the former Panthers defensive tackle. Sports Talk Atlanta pitched the idea of bringing him into the roster. And I will preface this by saying there has never been, in the history of ever, a bad one-year deal with little to no guaranteed money. If you want to bring Kawann Short in on that deal, okay, I think that makes some sense. And there is a connection after all. New defensive line coach Gary Emanuel coached Kawann Short when they were both at Purdue before Short came to the NFL and the Panthers. What gives me pause here is that Short hasn't really played over the past 2 seasons. He's played a total of, I believe, 5 games, and that's next to nothing. And the last time we saw him healthy and active, he wasn't the same guy he was in his prime. The production had begun to dip at least just a little bit. And I don't think he's going to be an impact defensive tackle. Now, if you want to bring him in as a veteran depth rotation guy, I'm okay with that. I mean, obviously, Grady Jarrett remains one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL altogether. You've got some young depth guys. I don't think Deidre Sandon is ever going to really be an impact guy, but you drafted Marlon Davidson in round 2 out of Auburn last year. I like him quite a bit. Tyler Davison, actually, I thought played pretty well for the Falcons this past season. That's 3 guys you can count on, or at least are going to count on, being part of your core rotation. So if Short wants to be your 4th option, okay. I just don't know if A, that's what he wants, or if that makes the most sense for the Falcons. Again, I start to wonder if edge rusher becomes a bigger focus for this team, given the Unfortunate endings to the tenures of Vic Beasley and Takk McKinley, and that Dante Fowler didn't quite meet his production. So in the end, I'm okay going after Kawann Short. I think there will be better targets, though, this offseason in free agency for the Atlanta Falcons.